Hi everyone, Janie here, and today I am excited to do this review on the Creative Craft Products Cut and Score Trimmer. But before I get started, I kind of want to explain something. So recently I did a review on the Fiskars Procision Rotary Bypass Trimmer, and I stand by that review. I love that. But this is totally different. There is no comparison between the two. It would be like comparing a bicycle to a motorcycle. They both have two wheels and handlebars, but that's where the comparison ends. And it's the same with this. This is a totally different thing, and you will see that as I share it with you. And I will be comparing it against something else I already have, only to show you why I like some of the features on this one. Okay, so are you ready? Let's get started. Okay, meet the Creative Craft Products Cut and Score Trimmer. And I absolutely love it, and it has so many features. And I normally would not do a comparison between two items, but in order to really show you how awesome this is, I will be comparing it against my old paper trimmer, but I have taped off the name so that we're not comparing it brand to brand. I'm just comparing the features. So to start off with, the obvious is that this cuts and it scores. And one of the things that I love about this is that they each have their own space out of the way. I'm going to call them parking spaces, okay? And so they each have their own parking space so that when you're cutting, you can cut all the way across a 12-inch piece of paper or cardstock without the score, not a blade, but without the scoring piece getting in the way. And it's the same thing. You can score all the way across without the blade getting in the way because they each have their own place. Now meet my old paper trimmer, which does not have a space at either end. It will always have something in the way. If I had a scoring piece on here, it would just be in the way. So that's what I mean about these having their own parking spaces. Now, let's look at another feature here. This is clear, and it has a handle that lifts up. And when it's down, it clicks into place to hold your paper or cardstock into place. And being clear, you can see where everything is at, which makes it really nice. And also, it has measurements right across the top of this piece. Again, really nice, and I'll show you why here in a minute. But I wanted to point out that this one is not clear, it's blue. It doesn't have a handle to lift up, and it lifts up this direction. A little awkward, don't you think, when you're trying to put your papers through from this direction and see what you're doing, where this one makes that really easy to do? And also, because this doesn't have a handle like this one does, you have to lift it up this way. Well, I'm an accident waiting to happen, okay? And I had a tendency of getting my fingers in the way of the blade when I'm lifting this up and trying to get my papers in place, and I would cut myself. And it's one of the things that my husband absolutely hated about this. So, really nice features here, having the handle, having it be clear, having it open the right direction. And while I'm at it, yes, this one does have the measurements, but they're hard to see because this is blue. I always had a problem with that. But talking about measurements, this one has measurements on the side, and this is only wide enough for 12 by 12 paper, which means your paper will cover that up. But it doesn't have any down the center. It doesn't have any grid. And this one has measurements that go down both sides and down the center. And they are in inches and in metric, which is really a nice feature. So again, more features about this that I absolutely love. Before I show you the rest of the features, we are going to check out the cutting and scoring. So I'm just going to lift this up, slide my cardstock in, and I'm going to cut it at 5.5 inches, which is right there, which, wow, that also happens to line up all the way across with this other line. How nice is that? Okay, so I've got this down, And I'm just going to cut it, and it cuts beautifully. I'm going to lift that back up, and I'm going to move him back to his parking place, and we're going to put this one in at 4 1/4 inches, which is right there. I love this. I'm not actually standing right here. I'm kind of over here, so I have to look to make sure I'm actually doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And of course it lines up. I love the grid, so it lines up right there. And now we are going to score this, and you can see the score line right there. Very nice, and it folds beautifully. So now I have myself the base for an A2 size card. Now with this other piece, I'm going to show you something really cool about this. So as I said, we have measurements going right across the top of this. I'm going to call it a ruler. It's not a ruler, it's kind of a little shield here. And I don't know if you were into making fun fold cards and cards that need you to cut in specific places but not all the way across. Well, that's where that comes in handy. So I'm going to move this up to the 1 inch mark. So right up there to 1 inch. And then I have to move it over here closer to me. I don't know if you can see, but there's a line right here on the edge. There's one on both sides. So actually, let me get it lined up here. I need it at 1 inch. And that little line right here on the housing that holds the blade is where the blade is going to be. And so I'm going to line that up with 1 inch, because that is where I want to start my cut. So again, making sure I have this at 1 inch, like that. Bringing this down, I'm going to cut it over to, let's see, that's 1 inch from that end. This is 5 1/2 inches long. So I'm going to cut it to 4 1/2 inches, which by the way is not easy for me. And actually this is not. This is 8 1/2 inches long. I need to learn my math. Okay, so I'm going to cut this to 7 1/2 inches, which is right there, and lift it up. And now I have a cut. And I can do that all over again. So putting that at 1 inch. And actually, since this one is already at 7 1/2, because that's where I stopped, I'm going to just cut backwards to 1 inch. And look at that. We have the beginnings of a fun fold card. And you can do the same thing if you have to score it in the middle. So I'll move that over. I'm going to bring this into 4 1/4 inches. Put this down. And I want to score starting at that line right there. And I can see the line right through here because it's clear. And I'm going to score it over to that line. And now I have a score line in the middle, right where I need this folded. And of course, am I any good at this? No. But anyways, you have the beginnings of a fun fold card, okay? Trust me. So that is one of the features that I love about this, because you can see through it, see what you're doing. It makes it so easy to do cuts like that. Okay, another feature is this ridge right here. I'll just grab this and kind of show you that there is a ridge right there. We're going to discuss that in a minute. First, I want to show you this. So this opens up like so. It clicks into place, and it is nice and sturdy. It's not coming out. And we're going to come over here to my other one, and it comes out, but it doesn't click into place. It is flimsy. It is constantly moving on me. And while I have it out, I will also show you that it drops down from here to there. It's not straight across, and it doesn't have anything on this side to prevent my paper from moving out of place. And because there's no grid lines here, it also makes it difficult for me to see if everything is in place. But this has an edge. So let me grab a piece of 12 by 12, and it has, first of all, this goes straight across, okay? It doesn't drop down like the other one. it has this ridge here, which keeps your paper up against the ridge all the way down. So nothing is moving out of place. I find that absolutely amazing. And it makes it so nice because on the other one, things could slide over, things weren't in the right place. I love this so much. I am sorry. I really do love this, and I am actually not sorry, but I'm sorry that I just seem to be drooling over this right now. So let's wipe up the drool. Okay, so this goes all the way to 17 inches. So if you have extra long papers, it will fit. Also, I wanted to show you that while your paper is in here, I can still see the measurements on this side as well, which is really nice. So those are some amazing features. Also, I wanted to show you that this doesn't really slide all over the place because it has these nice little non-skid feet on it that make it stay in place while you're working on it. So I love that. Okay, so now let's get back to this ridge. Now that I folded this back into place, well, actually I didn't. There we go. Now it's in place, nice and firm. I'm going to move that over there. And if you like making 6x6 cards, or you have, let's say, a 12x12 piece of cardstock or paper that you need to cut exactly in half, guess what? This little ridge right here is the 6-inch mark. So, like I said, if you need something 6 inches, it hits this ridge, you know that you are in 6 inches. And I'm going to prove that to you because I'm going to take this 12x12 piece of paper and I'm going to cut it in half, which, by the way, I just went all the way across and nothing is blocking it because this guy's parking space is over here. And so everything got cut all the way across, and to prove to you that that was exactly 6 inches, here they are together, exactly the same size. Well, I think I've shown you all of the amazing features of this cut and score trimmer. There are a couple more features that I'm going to show you, but before I do, I just want to do a quick recap to remind you that there are inches and centimeters down the side, the middle. We have measurements across the top of this as well, and that this opens up to go as far as 17 inches. All of the nice ridges that hold everything in place and the grid. Oh my gosh, so many wonderful features. And of course, the scoring and cutting blade have their own little parking places. And now I'm going to just show you a couple of other little things. One is, if you're wondering, how do you get the blade out to replace it? Because obviously the blade does not come out. There's a place right down here that you can barely see. There's just a little notch. And when you get there, you can pull the blade out and put a replacement blade in. And of course you have to find that same spot and put it in, and there you go. It is that easy to do. And one other feature that is really cool is there's this opening right here that you can use to hang this. If you want to hang it at the end of your craft table or on a wall, or you know, if you hang up your supplies places, this would be perfect for that. I don't, but you know, I put mine in a drawer, but it is perfect for hanging. Maybe I'll start hanging mine. I actually have places on the end of my craft table to hang things, and I've never had one before that I can hang. So maybe I'll do that. But this is really awesome. This is the absolute, by far, best paper trimmer I have ever seen. And it scores, so you've got cutting and scoring all in one place, which is really nice. And it's just, I have to say, it is the best. And that is just my opinion. That is just my personal opinion from my personal review. And everything I've shown you, you've seen right here on camera, so I'm not hiding anything from you. I really do think this is awesome. And if you think it's awesome too, I have links below to Craft Stash and also a link directly to this. And they are affiliate links, so if you're interested in these, I would appreciate it if you would use them. It would really mean a lot to me. And look forward to more reviews from me on other products. Happy crafting, everyone. Bye-bye.